Okay, so 3.6 is estimating perfect squares. So the very first thing we're going to do is you're going to write down this perfect square chart, and we're going to end up adding to it before the end of class. So I'm actually going to go ahead and add to it right now. So we're going to take it all the way up to 15. So on your notes outline, you have it on the right hand side right here. I already started it for you. On the right hand side of your notes outline, and I want you to just continue it down like in a vertical column. I had to make 2 columns to get it to fit on my smartboard, but you just make yours go straight down. So I'm going to add a few more. So what these are integers squared, and they make what's called perfect squares. You may have noticed that a lot of these numbers were on your homework and notes yesterday. Like a lot of these numbers we repeated over and over again yesterday because they're perfect squares. So pause your video and write down this list. All right, so for the first problem, we are estimating the square roots between 2 consecutive integers. So what does consecutive mean? So think of it, if I say that the team won 2 consecutive games in a row or back to back, that's what it means, back to back or in a row. So like the numbers 3 and 4 are consecutive, they're back to back. Okay, so 2 consecutive integers. So the first one is square root of 55. So we're going to look at our chart and look and see where does 55 fall on the square roots. Between what and what?
7 and 8.
Between 7 and 8, right? Because 55 would go between 49 and 64. So we're going to say that square root of 55 is going to fall somewhere between, we're just going to write between 7 and 8. Okay, so look at 90. Look at your chart, your square roots, and figure out where 90 is going to fall.
9 and 10.
9, square root of 9, or 9 times 9 is 81. So between 9 and 10. Okay. All right, so take a look at the next problem. While searching for a lost hiker, a helicopter covers a square area of 150 miles squared. What is the approximate length of each side of the square area? So you have 150 miles. We're needing to find one side. So look at your chart and see where 150 would fall. Between 12 and 13. Okay, so 12 squared. So let's choose which one it's closer to. Okay, so 12 squared is 144, right? 13 squared is 169. So 150 is closer to which number? 12. So if I were to estimate to the nearest mile, I would say about 12 miles. That would be the closest, about 12 miles. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing on number 4. So you want to sew a fringe, which would be like a border, around a square tablecloth with an area of 500 square inches. Calculate the length of the fringe you will need to the nearest tenth of an inch. So I realize that you do not have 500 on your chart. So let's actually calculate the square root of 500 using your calculator. And I want you to give me 2 decimal places. So give me to the 100. 22.36. Okay. That is representative of what part of this square tablecloth?
Most of it.
Mm-mm. What is the 22.36 representing? One side of it, right? So we need to put a border around the whole entire thing. So what would we actually have to do with 22.36? Multiply by 4 to be able to know how much border or fringe I need to buy. So 22.36 times 4.
89.44.
89.44. And it says round to the nearest tenth.
So it'll just be
89.4 inches. Okay, so this next part we are doing is approximating. So we are approximating. Whenever you see this word approximate, we're going to use this formula. So you have the formula spot in your notes right there. So this is the approximate formula. You might want to add this word up at the top of your notes. So approximate formula, and this really isn't like a mathematical formula. This is just a way for you to remember how to do this. So you already have a line on your notes. So in order to approximate, you're doing medium minus small over large minus small. Like I said, it's not a mathematical formula. I'll explain here in just a minute. So medium minus small over large minus small. That's the formula we're going to use for this. And it's just a way for you to remember what to subtract. Okay, so we are approximating the square root of 200 to the nearest hundredth. So this is not just typing it in our calculator and calculating. What we're going to do first is find 200 on your chart and see what numbers it goes between. Okay, I heard 14 and 15. So 14 squared is 196. So we're going to put the square root of 196. And we're going to say that's less than the square root of 200. And that is also less than the square root of 15, which is 225. Okay, so these are our three numbers that we're working with. So this is our small, this is our medium, and this is our large. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take our formula, so medium minus small over large minus small. Okay, so medium minus small. So we're going to take 200 minus 196 over our large minus our small. So 225 minus 196. And then you're going to calculate that. So 200 minus 196 is 4 over 225 minus 196.
19.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to divide this, and I want you to give me 3 decimal places. Divide it and then 3 decimal places. Okay, so 0.137. Okay, now here's what we're going to do after we divide it. We're going to add this to our whole number. How we get our whole number is it is the square root of the small number. So the square root of 196 should be on your chart. 14. So our whole number is 14. So we're going to add that to our decimal, which would give us 14.137. Okay, and then the instructions say round to the hundredth.
14.14.
So 14.14. So I know that's a lot, but we're going to practice it again, and it's really like the same procedure every time. It's just following a formula. Okay? All right, so we're going to practice this on the next one. Same process. Approximate 100 the square root of 141. So the first thing is find what two numbers on the chart it goes between?
11 and 12.
11 and 12. Okay, so the square root of 11 squared is 121 is less than the square root of 141 is less than the square root of 12, which is, or 12 squared, which is 144. So I'm going to go ahead and write what my whole number is going to be, because my whole number is the square root of my small number. So what is that in this problem? 11. Okay, so then I'm going to do my formula. So medium minus small over large minus small. So 141 minus 121 over 144 minus 121. So what do you end up getting? Yes. 20 over 23. Okay, so then my next step was to divide 0.869. Okay, so then I'm going to add what to that?
11.
My whole number. So I'm going to get 11.869. So then that's going to give me, rounded to the 100th, 11.87.
You round every time.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to give you one more of these to try on your own that is like this. So you're going to approximate, again, the square root of 93, and you're going to round to the nearest 100. Okay, so I want you to pause your video and try to work through this problem. Okay, so the square root of 93 falls between 81. So square root of 81 is less than square root of 93 is less than square root of 100. So my whole number is going to be 9. Oh my goodness. Here we go. My whole number is going to be 9. So then I'm going to take medium minus small. So 93 minus 81 over large minus small. So that gives you 12 over 19. And then you divide it. And you get 0.63 what? 1. You're going to add 9. So get 9.631 rounded to the 100. We give you 9.63. Okay? All right. This next part is easier. Use a calculator to find the square root of 700. Round to the nearest 10. So give me 2 decimal places. Square root of 700 with 2 decimal places.
26.45.
26.45. So to round to the 10th, I need to look at the hundreds. So what is this going to round to?
50.
26.5. Okay. Last one. Use a calculator to find the square root of 600. Round to the nearest 10th. So give me 2 decimal places. 24.49. I'm going to look at my 100th and round up. So I'm going to get 24.5. Okay. Your assignment is not this. It is worksheet 3.6.